Hello! It's been a couple of weeks I think since we did another video, of course. We always tend to leave it a bit last minute. We're going to do a video this week on the tips for buying properties. Tips that we've experienced, feedback from other friends that have bought, because it's been so lovely. I tell you, we have had many emails, many Instagram messages. We get lots of people contact us now, which is so nice. And I'm sorry that we can't ever meet in person with people or Skype calls. We've been asked to do video calls and we just don't have the time to do that. You know, I work pretty much 6 days a week. We've got the baby, we've got the house. So I'm sorry that we can't meet anyone in person. We can't spend time on calls. You know, if we've got time to do video calls, that's with family because we're not with them. So thank you for understanding that that's not possible. We are happy to help with email, written communication, no problem. Gives us time to really think about the right answers for you. And also, you know, we're not agents, so we can't help find properties for people, but we can certainly help you with all the links to recommended agents that we've done before. So this video is going to be a bit of a recap maybe of things that we've said before. Some really key information in regards to recommended agents in our region and other regions that we've met as well. So yeah, we'll give you some good tips for those that are looking to do the same thing. Okay. Hello. Okay, so one of our first tips is definitely about agents, like I said in the introduction, because you can buy properties direct, and we will include a link below to olx.bg, I think. Anyway, the website, you can buy direct from owners, but obviously with the language barrier and making sure all the paperwork's ready, we fully recommend in our region Veselin Bouchev of Ideal Homes. Not going to work. And because he, honestly, for a really small fee, he does helps you out with absolutely everything. So he has also got a YouTube channel with walkthroughs, so totally recommend him. Also, there's a couple called Alternate Living Bulgaria, and they're based down in, is it like Svelingrad? Svelingrad, like south. And we'll put a link to their stuff as well. They've got a YouTube channel, because really, I think, especially if you're buying remotely, and if you're not able to visit right now during the pandemic, or you just want to have a look online, you've got to see a current video walkthrough of the property, because a lot of the images on some of the real estate agent websites tend to have photos that are old. So even our property, when we saw it online, the photos were 10 years old, and when we saw it in person, obviously there's a lot of growth in the garden, so the state might be very different. So definitely tip number one, get yourself a great agent, of which we can recommend below. Make sure you get a video walkthrough if you can't see it in person, and just in case the photos are old, or ask how new the photos are. And is that probably enough for tips around agents?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we'll think about some more.
So definitely another tip to look out for. As you can see, we're outside on the driveway, and I'll show you. This is where we park, and our drive actually goes down here to meet the road. It's a bit of a tight turn there, so we do have to be careful. Now when I say driveway, we are the only people that use this. It's actually not our land. It is, I mean, I suppose it's considered a public road. But as you can see, when we do have some rain, these tracks are only made by our car, and it does go, I think it's about 80 metres to get round to the road there, and I think it's about 60 metres this way. So that's quite a lot of land that we have to tend to. In our village there isn't the budget or anything like that, so we have to trim, we have to cut back the trees, and we have to try and make it, what's the word I'm looking for, we have to try to make it easy for us, which can be difficult. When it snows, we can't get up here. We actually have to park all the way over there, or behind this house here. There's a small little patch of grass where we park. That can make it really difficult. Now we've got the baby. If you want to get shopping, you have to cart it, a good 80 meters to the front door. And because of the width of this this drive here, we can't get big trucks up. So when you're ordering materials like wood, I mean anything, it could be roof tiles, it could be a washing machine, you've got to think about how you're going to get it from all the way down the road into your house. When we get things like wood delivered, it's all dropped off at the end, and I literally have to walk one by one each piece. So when ordering stuff, it can be very difficult. We absolutely wouldn't be able to do it if there was snow. So I would suggest that when you are looking at a property, think about what kind of car you're going to have. Yeah, actually that's another thing. Think about what kind of car you have. I imagine if we had a bigger 4x4, it wouldn't be so bad. But yeah, access can be a little bit tricky. And also shared access. Ourselves and some of our friends, we have houses away from the road, which is absolutely wonderful, don't get me wrong. But our friends' driveway, path, whatever you want to call it, is shared by tractors. So at certain points of the year, they can't drive up it at all. I believe they've now got a big 4x4, so that might be different. But yeah, there was absolutely no way of them getting there last year, which can be frustrating.
Tip 3, especially if you're an internet worker like me, broadband is really fast in Bulgaria. I think it's like the fastest speed in the EU, so you don't have to worry about that, but you do need to check if you're looking at a rural property, if your village can get broadband to it. So we're really lucky, we've got broadband set up. The company came in, they wired it through the house, and that was 50 lev to install. So that's that, 25, 27
20
quid,
quid, yeah.
And it's 19 lev a month for unlimited broadband, which is really, really good. Don't ask me about speeds and things. I don't understand that sort of stuff.
No, but you can stream and everything.
I mean, my goodness, I do Skype calls. There's no issues at all unless we have a power cut, which is common here. If you can't get broadband to a village, I know you can get like satellite internet, which is more expensive, but definitely something to research if internet's important to you before you sort of choose a village. Secondly, mobile phone signal. Not great where we are. So
outside of the house it's all right.
Yeah, it's for some reason just our house we can't really get mobile phone signal. There are lots of different providers here, so it might be that we're just with the wrong one. But this one was recommended to us by other people in the village, but we can't get it very well. So it's a little bit frustrating if you're like waiting for a delivery and someone's trying to call you and they're outside, or you're trying to direct someone. That's a nightmare. And another nightmare is when you're trying to do a bank transfer and you're waiting for an SMS verification code to come through, and sometimes Lee will have to drive out the village to get the text and come back to give it to me to be able to continue with the thing. So but it's not a problem, it's just a bit funny. But yeah, just little things to check broadband and mobile phone providers.
First world problems.
This one's from Hudson. This is the tip from you, isn't it? So, quick recap to people that aren't EU citizens, including British, obviously since Brexit. Now, if you want to buy a property here as a non-EU citizen and a Brit, you're classed as obviously a third country national. Therefore, you have to set up a company to purchase a house of land or an apartment, etc. And that's really easy to do. I think it only costs a couple of £100, and again, the agent that we recommend can help with that. And If you want residency here though, that's a bit tougher. You can't do that anymore. You can only stay in the country 90 days at a time, then leave for 90 days, then come back for 90 days. So you're not able to live here full time unless you qualify for what's called a type D visa. So you might want to do a bit of research into that. So that's just in regards to residency, but you can still purchase a property without residency just by setting up a company, which is a nice and easy bit of paperwork. Okay. So also really important to check with your agent or the buyer or yourselves. Obviously sewage. Is there a septic tank, or are you connected to the mains sewage? Is that right? Main sewage?
Yeah, some villages have it, some don't.
Right. Yeah, some villages have it, some don't. Especially obviously rural places like us. There's no septic. But so we've obviously built the septic ourselves. A lot of the village properties you'll see will just have pipes going into the rivers. It's kind of a normal thing to do here, although I think they're kind of clamping down on that now. So it's definitely one to think about, because unless you sort of do your own one, which is what we've done, it's quite expensive to get one of the companies to do the septic systems. A few thousand. Yeah. And also drainage. You know, if you're near a river or you're high up like we are, we actually get a lot of, after the snow, we get a lot of snow melt. So when you've got months of rain and snow melt coming down the hill, yeah, we have an issue with water coming through. So you're probably likely to have to do external work. What are they called? French drains? French drains around the property, because that if you're buying an old property, that won't be there. And obviously guttering will probably have to be replaced. So all these costs have to be factored in to keep your home watertight. That's just a tip there about sewage and drainage. Something else as we're walking around the property, thinking about the tips to give you. As you can see behind me, this is a giant rubbish pile, and it's so lovely that we bought a house that's old and it's still got loads of things in it, all their old things. We found some really nice little vintage pieces, but it's also full of a lot of tat, especially bed frames and old mattresses. And that's what you see here behind us, is piles and piles of rubbish. Now you can't hire a skip here that easily. We've tried to research it. It's not a really common thing. And you can hire companies that come and clear it for you in their van. But what we've noticed is there's a lot of fly tipping. You'll go for a lovely drive and there's piles and piles of builder's rubble and rubbish. So you need to find a reputable company that can clear it. This is more that they do have like what do you call like proper tips? Well, tips.
Yeah.
Not a tip as in a help. Tip as in like a tip where you go and take stuff. Obviously this is more of information about when you live here, but it's something to bear in mind as a cost. If you're getting a house that's full of stuff, we actually don't know yet how much it's going to cost to clear all this.
But we're saving it up.
We're saving up all the bed frames, all the rubbish, to do one big load at some point. So it's just a cost to bear in mind, that house clearance is going to be a factor. I think that's probably a good tip, right? Yeah. Should we go indoors? Getting a bit chilly. Giving you a new position now with the new extension in the background. I'm going to set the dogs off barking now because they can hear me talking. This is a really quick one. We had some friends that bought here remotely. They never actually visited. They just bought it online. They'd got they were going through an agent and they'd got all the paperwork. Everything was sort of fine. They were asked to pay for architect's fees up front. Now we have no idea why. I don't know if this was specific to their case, but there should be no need to be paying for any architect's drawings unless of course you're making changes to the property or you're planning to build. So they were stung a little bit there. Now we don't know who they were with, it was a completely different region, etc. So just be really mindful that you have an independent lawyer as well, just to run through everything, as well as an agent, and just to triple check. But as far as we're concerned and our knowledge and experience, you just need the paperwork for the municipality that they've actually been paying all the fees every year prior to them selling it to you, which you, if you like, is a bit like the searches where they find the deeds, etc., and things like that. But there should not be any architect fees at all. So just something to bear in mind. That was something we heard from some friends, so hopefully that helps. I've come into the lounge with the noisy fish tanks in the background just to, Hudson's being a bit noisy with his toys, and he's learning to sing, I think. So I just wanted to, probably, with not teaching you to suck eggs, but really think about what's important to you from a day-to-day life perspective. We have driven out every weekend nearly and just got lost down a road and found another village and some other properties that are probably empty for sale, and every village and road in the, certainly in the Veliko Tarnovo region, in the Gabrovo region, it really is stunning, and I don't think you could go wrong with either location. And so I would say really think about the things that are important. Is it a view? Is it being able to go walking in nature? Or is it simply you want a bit of that, but you need civilization as well without getting in the car? You know, we're great. We're half an hour from the city of Veliko Tarnovo. We're 10 minutes from the local supermarket. But what would be really nice with hindsight for us is just to be able to put Hudson in a buggy, go for a walk, and grab pizza and a beer if we're not up for cooking a big meal, for example. So we kind of miss the fact that we can't just nip to a little restaurant or a little bar. And so that's something to bear in mind, and check on your, if you are choosing a village, really research that village currently. Sometimes some of the ads for properties might say village with a shop and a bus station and a school or something, and actually they might have all closed down since that. I don't know when, but they may well have all closed down. So you've really got to really research that village. And I would say, this is one of Lee's phrases actually, so Lee would say, you can always change your house, but you can't change the location. So really think about location. So I think with hindsight there's a couple of things we would have preferred, but we were in a bit of a rush to get this place before Brexit, and we just fell in love with the views and all those things, and we're very happy here. But if we really had the time to really consider what we needed from life, especially knowing children would be on the way and maybe somewhere a bit closer to other younger families or schools, etc. So all these things need to be taken into account. But yeah, have a really good think about what is important to you. A quick funny one. If you're buying an old house, make sure you check the height of your appliances because a lot of them have really low ceilings. So check that first.